All right, I'm going to start with a poem. Actually, this was written before what was happening in the Ukraine, but it was a line from Dan Brady, one of your poems. Which was inspired from that. So you had a line that was, "Women have always been on the battlefield." So that's the title of this poem. Endless heroes' tales never speak of women as casualties, the invisible, uncounted for, the ones who wear no medals, who have no names. The women who come on waves riding dragon swells, cradling children on a raft. Women who come alone like apparitions on the foam on ships over the stormy sea, leaving a wake of loved ones behind them, their buildings left burning to the ground in a wave of fire. We are never told that women are the sea itself, that the ocean is also a mother, carrying us in her womb, that her waters birth and nurture us, create and destroy. We are never told that we are made of water, or that water holds memory, stories of emotional waves, that water itself was created by sound, and therefore we are made of stories. And although warriors say, "Leave no man behind," women are left behind often, with their children as collateral damage, and their stories never told. The water holds them in its movement, tears that rise from the sea and fall upon the mountains, tears that run through rivers never stopping, and we swim in the same waters and drink from them. And the water that was once pure can be purified again if we listen to its song. I'm going to ask Daniel. So this is Daniel Hefez is my husband, and he's a wonderful jazz musician, the leader of the Nova Jazz Quartet. And but tonight he's going to play. We can't play saxophone in our apartment; it's too loud. So what is this instrument?
Mbira.
An mbira. And it's actually shaped like an egg, so I think I might read this poem. And somebody mentioned a poem about an egg, so okay. He's going to play the mbira. Del ovo. She holds the egg. She is the egg. Her body soil for the egg. Creates the egg, she who builds, who moves, who dances. Bird woman, when women were sirens, who swam the bay of Santa Lucia, whose eyes grant third eye vision to pass between the thresholds, her feathered egg hidden inside Castel del Ovo where the Poeta Mago wandered. Her sacred shores, where the egg lay suspended in a glass amphora, over the heads of philosophers and ghosts. The primordial seed swings from the shafters, her cage song keeps the city safe from volcanic eruptions. The egg rolls softly over skin in the healer's hands. The pure and powerful egg, with its delicate shell, lifting the eye from you, lifting your fears, lifting the heaviness of your earthly being. The egg, protected by warm feathers of the mother, coax you to fruition, hen feathers sprinkling holy water dipped in oil, blessing the brow. Feathers left floating in the blue where sirens sing the great song of their longing. Listen to this song. Wash upon the shore in waves that beat against the tide. Ricordi, ricordi. Remember where you come from. Remember who you come from. Invasive species. We forge a space for ourselves. We gather our friends together. We speak in secret languages. Emptied onto alien ports, we are invasive creatures, carried in the ballast of container ships. Importing our life like canned tomatoes that arrived the same way we did, aboard a ship across the ocean. We design a home in the empty corners of our mind, a tenement room where street lights flood in with moon. We'll gather in the tight kitchen. We'll play an old record in the basement. We'll sing songs we love. We'll break our hearts like a loaf of bread ripped in two. What do you do? And what to do? What to do with your tears? Lacrima. Your tears feel the crescent bay, tears that I've inherited but never learned to cry. Ocean that bleeds from you, collected in a glass vial, the alchemists transform. Try to separate your memories into salt crystals, prove that we float in the sea like stars. In the heart, memories of you are carried in a seawater womb. Coursing back and forth with me through 7 seas. She swims, her tail parting, moves in figure eights. Come to me in dreams, remember, she says, listen to her call. Cries come at nightfall. A great lament returns while swimming alone in bed. Festivals of joy and sorrow, terrifying crescendos become ecstatic. Their song will pierce limestone walls built around you. Soften your rough edges. Sacred tears carry you across, tears that hold memories left in the wake of their passage. Propel you through ethereal waters, cries so necessary, there is no container left to refrain, no way to collect them. Don't hold back. Sacred, milky tears, let them course through you until your heart breaks open. It was not that she was powerless. It was the contrary, she whispered in my ear on the way to visit her grave. If you're going to tell my story, tell it right. The sirens have a song that must be heard. A song so beautiful it will lure your soul. To ignore it is the gravest offense. To silence her may force her to throw her life upon the shore. A whole city was built upon the magic body of her. A whole city named after her. The fate of volcanic explosion quenched by the milk of her breasts. My great-grandmother's, and my grandmother was one of them. Get it right this time. I stopped the trail of black cars that let me out to see her grave, running to kiss them, let them wait behind me, a simple slab with a flaming heart, the red roses left for Rosa. She moves through my cousin's hands to give me a cameo. She yells at my aunt when her candle burns out. She has a to-do list with mysterious tasks at hand. She wants me to tell her story, get it right this time. She says as she listens to me describe my poem, it's not about a woman who was powerless. My grandmother's, the matriarch, whose world moved wherever she swam, she moved her world across the ocean. You see, it takes tremendous power to do that. Who leaves their world, their families behind? She is Poseidon and Venus, a priestess birthed from a shell. She knows the secrets of alchemy. When she carves the profile of a woman, her face is pointing toward the future. Get it right this time. The mothers created the egg and carried the seed that made me. The dark womb of the ocean that births all creatures, the stillness of the depths. We have this power to manifest our world. From the wide and quiet sky and the wild sea, we are not powerless. She carried me like a tomato in the belly of her, like a ship that set sail across the ocean. She fed me fish and seaweed. She taught me how to swim into the wide and unknown space, through its unexplored depths. She taught me how to see in the dark. All right. Our Lady of 77th Street. 77th Street was one of the streets I grew up with in Brooklyn, New York. So some memories of that. Under the barreling L, she watches over children playing in the street, with the nonas sitting on lawn chairs drinking iced tea, the Madonna of Coney Island. She appears in grill marks of a hamburger bun when nothing horrible happens, when no one knows she's there. We know she's working, the woman in the moon. Her invisible hand descending from the clouds over Gravesend Bay. All the churches are named after her, the mother who watches over mothers, and the children walking home alone from school. She's the one you call on when you deadbolt your doors at night, on the tattooed, bulging biceps of men, a decal sticker on a tinted window, on the door of the Salumeria. At the bakery, folded and braided loaves with colored eggs, she hangs next to ancient dollar bills taped to the ceiling at the deli for good luck. She's the one to pray to when you miss your period, still working in the blood mysteries. She's the one to pray when it's past 11 and their son or husband hasn't come home, when an ambulance comes screaming down the street, when a ring goes missing down the drain. The Madonna leaves her pedestal in the empty church. She climbs from her plaster grotto in the garden, where widows dressed in black plant roses at her feet. She walks through walls and flies through windows. She swings on the gold chains that dangle between breasts, and wild fields of chest hair and olive skin. She dangles close to the heart. She's the Madonna of the nail salon, spray painted on pointed fingers. She shows the way, she points the way, she is the way. Graffitied onto train cars, she rides with us at night, follows me home down dark alleys of Bensonhurst. She says the loving words we need to hear. She's the one to pray to pass your SATs so you could be the first one in your family to go to college. She's the one to cry to when you don't get that job, when you don't keep that love, when your life falls apart, when you carry a sorrow you don't know the origin of. She arrives by your bed, in the bathroom, on the train, as you feel like crying but hold back your tears. She wanders the streets, blessing her icons in gated gardens and home altars by television screens, on nightstands with sepia photos of ancestors. She wanders the festivals on 18th Avenue, past tables of plastic trinkets with her effigy, and carts spooning out zeppelis with powdered sugar from vats of hot oil. She appears on plastic keychains and carved mirrors, on blacklight posters. Here she glows in the dark as the DJ plays. Sweet cakes. We used to talk to the earth, and the earth gave us guidance, knowing we were afraid of the future, the instability of volcanic eruptions and trembling ground. Long ago we had conversations with our mother, in the cavernous womb of the earth, in the Phlegraean fields, touching fire from the fissure of her body, breathing sulfuric steam until we fell into a trance, expounding visions of the future. So compassionate, so graceful, She allowed us to see, and we would spend our time listening to the wind, to the rivers, to the crackling flame, to the ocean tides, to the rustling branches and bird song. We'd look for comets and shooting stars. We'd look for messages in our dreams when the world was alive, connected to her, and we were connected to each other. Once, when we sought her wisdom, we would return, leaving offerings of sweet cakes in the fuming crevice of her flaming heart. So close to her we were, so close we can still be, so close. Oh, I noticed that Avacha was here, and I have a part of the beginning of this poem is about my dear Avacha, who's on this call. It's called Gabish. When she says the word talk and coffee, I die inside. I die. My heart warms to the sound of those words, as if I saw an old friend walk down the street, one who recognizes me in the place of no belonging. I don't know how far I've drifted now. They've washed those words from my mouth. They've shoved in missing letters on the ends of my words. They've asked me to place my tongue at the top of my palate and repeat, take the time to talk to Tony, not take the time to talk to Tony. I feel like it's taking me a lifetime to know who I am, or what I'd say to Tony, the name of my uncle. I want to speak a language we both don't feel embarrassed to understand, you know? I don't speak Italian, I speak Brooklynese, my father used to say, the mixed up words of southern Italian dialects and English, whose heavy sounds counted the rolling sing-song Italian that they never taught me, that I struggle so hard to learn now. We are like those words, jumbled with our own sign language. Only my hands truly understand who I am. A romantic curve shoved into a sharpened box in the name of survival. Still, I am trying to learn my native tongue, to speak with my noni in dreams, but it does not exist anymore. My grandmother would ask me, gabish Italian, and I would be asked to say in return, no gabish, no gabish. How badly I want to gabish now, gabish Italian. I feel as though I am drifting further from myself. I'm a siren washed upon dry land. Her gills are heaving from exhaustion. Where is my song that moves like water? And if I were to sing it, what language would it be? Non Italiano, non dialect, a lost language of longing. Can't you see me from the shore waving my hands? Gabish, gabish, gabish sounds like waves hitting the side of a boat, lapping onto the black sand. I want to understand. I'll just read two more. Is that okay? Vulgare. Colloquial voice of the people, words spoken in dialetto. You have to be careful how you use that word, she says. You don't want to be vulgar. But maybe I do sometimes. Street music on the Spacca Napoli, a man plays a mouth organ stepping on a rubber chicken and other makeshift foot pedals. You've never seen this before. You've never heard it said that way. You've never tasted something quite like this. A man sings opera in the corner of an ancient building, spray-painted with graffiti near Teatro San Carlo, where only the audience played card games, chatting while performers sang dramatic stories at high notes, hoping to grab people's attention. The heart of the people can be a little rough around the edges, their sense of humor not so quiet around the corners. In aging corridors and side streets they tell me not to walk through, but I want to wander wander them anyway. The towns they tell me to stay away from, I want to see them. The train that they say is dangerous, I want to get on there. I want to go where the people live. I want to stay where they live. I want to eat the foods that they love to eat. I want to hear the music that they sing, and I want to excavate my own heart of longing in the places that people want me to forget. I go around the sacred sites. I see the ancient and overlooked weeds that carry medicine growing there. The sirens have a sense of humor. After all, they made the city, became the land, protected the ports, inspired songs of longing. They too, a little scaly and sharp around the tooth, perhaps apprehensive, unapproachable, and also adored. Their powers hidden and mysterious and vulgar. I've been finding on the last one on the theme of the spring renewal, I've been really just desiring to plant things, grow things, and I just found a little lemon tree I'm going to attempt to grow on my balcony, but I don't get much sun, so this poem is called Lemon Thief. If you gave me a square foot of soil baked by the sun, I'd plant a lemon tree, even though I don't know how. I trust that my blood would know the instructions by heart. Like I trust my fingers to know the right amount of sauce and salt and herb. I don't measure life inch by inch, but by intuition I go longing to grow a seed, to watch a vine spring forth, an erubescent plant, to walk into a backyard instead of a corner store, to pluck sprigs of basil with my own hands, to make a dish with a little more love. But for now, my heart breaks a little every time I pass a lemon tree just out of reach behind a fence. Thank you for having me. So good to see you guys.